The strength of our approaches to revising school curriculum will depend very substantially on our understanding of the purpose and the direction of the revisions. If we have a clear appreciation of those, then we have some sense of what it is we want to achieve with this revision. So, why have we revised the New Zealand curriculum? There are various accounts of the rationale for that. Some of those accounts are very inadequate. For example, to say that we need to have a revised curriculum because children are going to be moving into a world that's dominated by technology is to give a very, very limited view of what the world of the future for children is actually about. Moreover, children probably don't need teachers in schools to help them to get into operating things like cell phones and Xboxes. How many times have you heard it said that this curriculum is a document for the 21st century? Well, it probably isn't one for the 22nd century, but we need to ask ourselves, well, what does that actually mean? If you look at young children of today and contemplate what will the world be like for them when they reach our age, what will be different? What might the different needs be for them that an education can contribute towards? Well, I have to say that in some respects I find it very difficult to contemplate what the world will be like for our children in times to come. And yet in other respects I find it quite easy, because I know that there was learning that was valued by my grandparents, that was valuable for my parents, that contributed greatly to me in my education, and likewise for my children and hopefully my grandchildren. So we need to ask ourselves, what are some of the important features of learning that are going to stand the test of time? There are many when you think about it. Probably the main reason why we got a shift from the current curriculum documents, which were launched under what was called in the 1990s the Achievement Initiative, was a curriculum stocktake. And during that stocktake, the profession expressed a number of major and serious concerns with the design and the effect for practice of the approach that was used for the curriculum documents. Some of the points that were raised during the curriculum stocktake were that it was overcrowded, it lacked flexibility, there was an artificial structuring of the achievement objectives, and that sort of thing. So this was really what led to a rethinking of our nation's national curriculum, the curriculum stocktake. The ministry worked away on the notion of curriculum issues for a couple of years and then reported to the government on its stocktake. And in its report, it made recommendations to the government as to what could be done. The government approved that 4 matters could be addressed in the revision of the national curriculum. These 4 points are very, very significant. The first one was to clarify and refine learning outcomes. The next one was to focus on quality teaching. The third one was to strengthen school ownership. And you might ask, well, why are we committed to the notion of school ownership? We're a very diverse country. Schools are not of a piece around this country. When I visit schools, for example, in one part of Auckland and then go up the road to another part of Auckland, it strikes me that the needs of the children, the situations of the school, are incredibly different. One size will not fit all in those schools. And the fourth point was to strengthen communication and partnerships with parents, whānau and the community. Now this isn't just a statement of something that looks and sounds good. This is a reflection of an understanding that children's advancement in education is very, very strongly influenced by the quality, support and nurturing that's offered by their home situations. Somehow schools and those situations need to explore ways of working more closely together in the interests of children. Whilst we've made some progress in some respects. We've got a long, long way to go, but it's a most worthwhile challenge. Interestingly, way back in the late 1980s, the government then embarked on a review of the country's national curriculum during the time of Education Minister Russell Marshall. And in the 1991 Gazette, when it summed up the sentiments from that review and the view of what the New Zealand curriculum should be reshaped to be, we get very similar messages to those that are actually being applied to this revision. Well, this time we should ensure that it doesn't get captured and subverted on the journey, that it becomes a reality. So the direction of this revised curriculum has got 4 points. Try to commit these 4 points to your memory, to your understanding. The first one is rationalization of learning. What learning is important for your students? How much of that learning? Where should the focus be? Quality teaching. What constitutes quality teaching in your school? Have you defined it? Are you clear about it? School ownership. Putting your school's own mark on your curriculum. That is, saying what it is that we really want our students to learn, drawing from the national curriculum, but in a way that actually makes an interpretation that is suited to the needs of your students. And then that 4th point again, community engagement, teaming up. The national curriculum document on page 7 says directions for learning and guidance. The directions there are different to the directions I've been talking about. Those directions are in terms of the general content, if you like, of what this curriculum is about, whereas the direction I've been talking about is the direction for its implementation.